this is the latest version of the LCD version, or what's also known as the face hugger version of the GBAConsolizer. It's still a popular option because you can do like tilt and tumble with it. However, in my opinion, it's a little more tedious to put together. Like the power switch right here does not come soldered on. You got to solder it on, but it's really the routing of the new CPU Flex. And you'll see in the video, it causes some more tediousness. Stupid. So this video is not super in depth. It's really just about putting this version of it together. I will have some turntable videos showing the two versions of the clear resin facehugger, and then also a bunch of you can see them right there, 3D printed plastic colored versions, not clear, obviously, FDM stuff. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I'm basically starting deep into this just because I already had it done for testing the new Flex. So this is how the new kits will be soldered in. And this is a 40 pin version of the GBA. Otherwise you would use the 32 pin adapter piece. The big end would go into the kit, the small end up here. Let's see. So this is fully tested. I forget what I was doing. Oh well, I was just testing the Flex, but yeah, this is the one that I know works, but I see corrosion on the pins. That's something to look for. The cartridge connector pins. If I look down in there, there's, I don't know, there's several. But there wasn't much corrosion on the board other than down here, which doesn't really affect anything, and then around the power switch. So obviously the batteries spewed forth. So this being a prototype, it doesn't quite fit right. So I can't even get the snap in place. So we're fixing that. But my main thing is to try to get pictures of this sitting on the various colored tops here. And that's about all I have available at the moment. I might be able to find some other ones, but like, let's see, this rare one, I don't even know what it's called. I'm not sure this is something that somebody would even mess with modifying, but I could almost do that, couldn't I? Just lay it on top. I'm wanting to get some turntable vid of all these variations with the clear face hugger on it. And I know this is a working board. I'm thinking about the power switch, the LCD power switch. I'll say this one was taken off something. It was taken off of another kit that went into a full case. The very first round we had these populated from the factory. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Oh boy. I need to repopulate my controls first. No, we're not worried about the speaker. It's been removed. Might have to worry about how these power wires are routed in here though. Can bend them. So I've already taken the bumpers out too. That's what I would do for full case stuff. So after taking apart hundreds of these, the screws that are in here, it's kind of all over the place. I'm going to get two back in here, prototyping. And these will be Phillips head. But I've seen one here, that's it, and I've seen all three, and I've seen every combination in between. It's kind of crazy. So I wouldn't get too worried about, you know, I've seen some of these just strip, you know, get corroded with battery acid fumes, whatever. If you can get one or two back in there, I wouldn't worry about it. Weird. That's supposed to be a hole. This is how prototyping goes. There's just a real thin layer of clear resin there. Luckily, easy to cut off. Not too jaggy looking. So that's going to come up on that connector. Oh crap, you know what? I am still doing this wrong. Well, the problem is, where's it at? So the brace PCB is supposed to sit here. I'm just there thinking, how in the hell? How in the hell are we gonna tighten the bolts? Because before, the breakout PCB, you could attach the face hugger to the front housing. With the flex coming off of it. I forgot pins on the power switch need to be cut flush, so it'll sit flat on there. That's better. Never liked the brace PCB. But you could sandwich all this together and have your two FFCs coming off there. You're not going to want to solder that afterward. So that one definitely has to be connected up through there. As does this one. So that'll feed through.
Plus trying to hold the buttons. Lord. I feel like I'm going to start stripping this thing. Definitely don't want to tighten them down until all 4 bolts are through. And the nuts that I've been providing are Plasti-Lock. So they don't really need to be tightened per se. As long as it's on there tight. Can't believe all the buttons stayed in place. Well, it's not great, but it could be worse, I guess. Backwards. And you gotta wrangle all the FFCs in place too. Trying to keep stuff from covering up your pads. That actually looks pretty decent. If I'm not mistaken, this is a size 0 screwdriver. And this one was a 00. It's kind of worn. And I'll tell you what, that went together really well. Obviously I won't be able to test the shoulder buttons because I don't have the pads in there anymore, and I'm not really worried about the power switch slider cap since the power switch is on the kit. I also don't have the battery covers here. Let's see, these were the tri-wing. There were like 6 of those, and then there was the black Phillips one right there. So that was perfect for. And since I'm mostly worried about turntable vid of the face hugger, I'm pretty sure the tri-wing had sizes too, and I forget which one this one is. Since I'm only worried about turntable vid of this side, Probably won't populate all of the tri-wings. And I will repeat myself again. I'm screwing a metal screw into plastic. So it's best practice to unscrew until you hear a click, and that way you know you're lined up with the old threads. You don't really want to make new threads in your old plastic. It's a good way to get them stripped. Okay. I like how the logo is kind of not there until you turn it to the side, and then it's like very much noticeable. See how it just kind of appeared? It's kind of a cool effect. And disregard the SNES connector looking funky. This was one of them that I had to use hot air on to try the new oscillators. And somebody was asking about the oscillators. They're not new, they're just a different part number that we had to test. Because the old part number was not in stock anywhere. So that's been most of the delay actually, is just doing these small sample runs to make damn sure that we're good to go. I think my start might be on top of something. They're not at the same level. Could be possible one of my power wires is in between the pad and the plunger. Yeah, my start button. No, both of them. I must have something stuck. A button is not very responsive, but that could be pad corrosion, matter of fact. Then you'd really check the pads. But it wasn't really a full-on, let's see if it works, because this is all stuff that I had tested before. And it's really just about making sure the prototypes are fitting right, which there are some issues there. And, you know, with the new CPU flex on how to route it, how to hook it up, and honestly that is a little bit more complicated than it used to be, because you're soldering the CPU flex to the CPU of the motherboard first. So for the facehugger version, we'll have to be careful about how we route power and ground so we get away from the start and select buttons. But other than that, it was finicky, a little fiddly, but yeah. I want to say we're going to have about 300 facehuggers, and that's really only based on the brace PCB that sits behind all this. That just happens to be how many we have left. There are a bunch of 3D printed plastic versions. So we'll have a bunch of color options. There's a
clear one. But I was hoping, you know, like orange. That orange looks a little bit off from factory orange. Yeah. You can see that one a mile away. It kind of makes you wish the original orange was that color though, and these could be partially yellowed and faded and everything else. So I want to like all these samples he sent me. This is just all the colors that he had on hand, and it's too much. There's no reason to have that many options. So, like, I think this is a translucent red, and it really comes out pink. And it's darker than the factory one, but it might actually be an option that somebody would be interested in. And I do have samples of the big logo and the long logos, which is what I call them. So I'll get turntable of both of those. But they look really good on the Glacier. You know, like, okay, there's purple, and it's just, so for some reason it is impossible to match the original Indigo. It's way off. But that's the only purple he has on stock right now, in stock. So, I mean, I might really dial it back to just like black and white. Nothing really matches gold or orange or indigo, unfortunately. But of course, the clear resin will look good on all of them, so I believe that's the one that's going to sell the most anyway. And there's no reason why we can't do more of those in the future. It's just I want to get rid of the brace PCB stock that we have left over from the very first run, actually. So yeah, look for some turntable vids on the different colors and the combinations on the console itself. Hope you enjoyed it.